Welcome back. My name is AlexBeltran. I talk real estate. In this particular video, story time. I'm going to talk about my first real estate horror story. And it all starts somewhere between 2005 and 2007. I really don't remember the exact time that this happened. All I know is that real estate was good, so it was before 2008, and I was still a teenager. I used to charge real estate agents $150 to hold open houses all weekend long. And for me, that was a lot of money. To them, that was a bargain because listing agents at the time had so many listings that they just needed people to sit at the properties. It was a cakewalk. Now, as a teenager at the time, I obviously didn't have a real estate license. So the only thing I was legally able to say was price, square footage, bed, bath. And if you have any more questions, here is the business card of a really good real estate agent who can answer all those questions for you. Now, please sign in with your name, email address, and telephone number. Now, I was a bit of a free agent house sitter. I didn't care what real estate agent hired me so long as they hired me for the entire weekend and they paid me my money. So a lot of the times I would have to sit fixer-uppers with like holes in the walls or holes in the ceilings, and sometimes I would get to taste the forbidden fruit of the luxury property. And after a while, I wanted to do only luxury properties, or at least properties that had furnishing and a TV in it, because it would be cool to catch a hockey game while I was working super hard, because at the time, smartphones weren't the norm. I think I had a flip phone at the time, and the most advanced game that I had on that was Snake. So I would try to target some of the top real estate agents in the area, and then all of a sudden, bam! I landed one of the top agents. Not only that, one of the top luxury agents in the area. In my head, Easy Street just got easier. Now, I didn't get to talk to him directly. I was talking to the assistant the entire time, but they allowed me to hold an open house for them. It just so happened to be an REO property, which is a real estate owned property. It was vacant in a challenged neighborhood, which isn't a problem. I've done, crazy neighborhoods before, heard gunshots, the whole nine. But it wasn't the luxury property that I was going for. I get it, trial by fire. I have to earn the real estate agent's trust. But the better part about this, I was gonna be paid $250 to hold that open house. So obviously I wasn't paying attention in school all freaking week. I was in my head thinking about that open house and how I'm gonna get a whole lot more money to hold an open house for this particular real estate agent. And then, boom, it is the weekend. Everybody's working for the week. At the time, my mom would always come with me to check out the house because she was curious about the properties as well. And I would always get there roughly about 30 minutes early because you have to set up the open house signs, you have to go to the house, prep that, turn on the lights, clean any little, leaves, whatever the case may be. And this particular house, it was no different. I got there, put up the open house signs, opened the house, walked around the house, turned on every light, and then I walked to the back to rake up some leaves and, pretty much make the property look as presentable as possible. But through the window, I realized that there was this closet door that was unusually open that I didn't notice before. But I didn't really think much of it because I knew that my mom was somewhere around the property, or at least I thought I did, because I walked back through the property and I saw that she was still on the phone in the car. So I immediately think to myself, there's something fishy about that closet door. And I go right back in, and I'm standing in the middle of the room, and all of a sudden the door is open but in a different position, and then it just swings open and some dude just pops out, and my dumbass backs into like the corner of the freaking room. Yeah, horror movie 101, I failed.
Y'all watching this tape right now? That means I didn't make it.
Now, this part gets a little hazy, but I basically kind of put up my arms and I say, look, man, I don't want any problems, just leave. The dude left, without any issue. And I just breathed a sigh of relief. And I remember thinking to myself, what the hell just happened? And now apparently my mom saw the guy run out and she was like very confused as to what happened. I let her know what happened, and we walked into that closet. And it was a bunch of crack pipes, blankets, leftover food, clothes. Apparently the guy had been in there for who knows how long. I felt pretty confident that that was the end of that situation. Boy, was I wrong. So I called the assistant of the real estate agent just to give her an update as to what had transpired, and then I just proceeded with the open house. As usual, lots of people kept coming in. I did my shtick. Price, square footage, bed, bath, and here's the business card of an amazing real estate agent that can answer all the questions for you. Now please sign in with your name, email address, and telephone number. Oh, and by the way, there is a walk-in closet at the end of the hall where someone is apparently squatting, so be careful. So as people walked around, I would always ask, so what do you think? And all of them said the exact same thing. It smells like smoke. And, you know, I really didn't smell it. I thought maybe someone was barbecuing or something outside, a little weird because it's noon, but you know, that's what I brushed it off to be. After about an hour, I start smelling the smoke too, and at that point, I couldn't brush it off as just someone grilling outside, but there was no smoke anywhere. I walked around the house, kept getting sort of that smoky scent, but nothing really visually was wrong. So I went back to the kitchen, kept playing Snake on my phone because it was slow at that time. Then all of a sudden, a couple people come in, and they start walking around the house as well, and they tell me, excuse me, this last room, you know, the one with the walk-in closet, it's full of smoke. So, you know, I freak out. I start running around the house. I start opening up all the windows, and I start looking again, and I don't see any fire. It just, you know, I was like, what? In my panic, I call my dad. I let him know, hey, Dad, there was smoke. I don't see the fire. I don't know what to do. And he just kind of stays silent on the phone that says, dummy, call the fire department. All right, so quick side note here. So I distinctly remember what was going on in my head when I made this phone call to my dad. One, I don't see fire, so I don't see the reason to be a little tattletale and get the fire department involved. And two, I didn't want to lose this opportunity to hold more open houses for this particular real estate agent, so I figured I might as well solve the problem myself, all right? Let me remind you, I was a dumb teenager at the time, so I called 911, and the fire department showed up, all decked out. They're coming in, they're searching the entire house. They don't know where the fire is coming from either. They check the attic, they check the rooms, they are stunned themselves. And then I let them know, you know, there is this walk-in closet that is full of stuff. Maybe you should double check in there. And they do. And they find out that there's this like blanket that is smoldering. You know, one of those polyester woven blankets with like an Aztec on it that all of us Mexicans own. You know what I'm talking about, the one where the Aztec is kind of holding that lady. Like that, but pink. They take it out and they drench it with like this foamy stuff. It was actually kind of cool. And they check the rest of the house, clear. The house is not on fire, zero damage to the property. They pack up their stuff, give me a fist bump, and bounce. Now, I thought everything was pretty much normal from there on out. Boy, was I wrong again. Now, as the firefighters are pulling away, there's a cop car that is pulling in and parking in front of the house. The cop gets out, comes up to me and asks me what had happened, and I let him know, you know, there was a situation with someone that was apparently squatting at the house, and he asked if he can check out the property. I say, go ahead. I mean, I don't care. It's not my property. Don't have anything to hide. He walks around the property with a lot of caution, make sure that there's no one still in the property. And then he gets to the walk-in closet and he starts kind of rummaging around and he finds a little baggie of some type of drug. And then he gets really serious and asks very firmly, what are you doing here? By you, he meant me. What am I doing here? I answered that I am just an open house sitter, that I open houses to the general public so that they can check out the property while it's for sale in the event that they want to purchase this property. I let him know the price, the square footage, the bed, the bath, and in the kitchen, there is a business card of a really good real estate agent that can answer all the questions for him. And while he's there, he should sign in with his name, email address, and telephone number. Well, this particular police officer of the law had a few questions that he did want to ask this really good real estate agent on this particular business card that can answer the questions for him. I want to quickly recall the fact that I'd never actually spoken to the real estate agent. I'd only spoken to the assistant. So the officer calls the number on the card. He gets the agent on speaker. And the police officer asks, do you know Alex Beltran? And the real estate agent says, no, I've never heard of him. At that point, the police officer just kind of looks at me all sarcastically, and he does like the turn around, I'm about to handcuff you motion. You know, I just remember that in that moment, I had like this crazy sinking feeling. And all right, look, this part gets a little bit hazy because I was, you know, all these things are going on in my head. Oh my God, I'm about to lose this open house opportunity. Just a million things. My parents are going to kill me. How long am I going to be in jail? Those drugs aren't mine. But I said something along the lines of, can you please call him back and ask for the assistant? Because that's who I've been dealing with this entire time. And as all of this is sort of transpiring, my dad happens to arrive at the property. Now, my dad is also a real estate agent, and he talks to the cop and clears everything up, lets him know that I am an open house sitter and why I'm there, and, you know, the whole nine. And look, I know cops get a bad rap at times. I want to be perfectly clear. This cop was professional the entire time. He was simply doing his job and just working with what was presented in front of him at the time. It is weird that this teenager's in this vacant home with a closet full of who knows what exactly. Overall, the cop, like I said, very professional, immediately apologized, said, look, I'm sorry, shook my hand, and just drove off. That was that. There were still 2 hours remaining in that particular open house, and I sat at that open house for those remaining 2 hours without incident. Why? Because that is what I do. I'm an open house sitter, and I wanted those $250. Now, at the end of the day, my dad and I had a great laugh about it. My mom, understandably, a little freaked out. The last thing she wants is, you know, for me to get tied up in the system. But ultimately happy that nothing major happened. Like I said, the property was not damaged whatsoever. And even better news, the real estate agent kept hiring me for more open houses. Fully furnished with TVs. A couple of them had like actual movie theaters. It was great until 2008. But that's a horror story for a whole different day. Anyway, what are some of your real estate horror stories? Go ahead and comment in the comment section down below. I would love a good laugh, or I would love a good cautionary tale. If you're interested in checking out the top 10 cities to invest in real estate, go ahead and check out this video up on this end card. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button or the dislike button. Who cares as long as you're interacting. Smash that subscribe button. And I will catch you guys next week. Peace.